आजकल और कुछ नई बातें।
Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India Live, India's voice to the world. I'm Preeti Kaur. Coming up in the next 30 minutes. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi arrives in Doha, meets Qatari counterpart, discusses ways to boost ties between the two nations. Israel vows more action against Hamas and Rafah amid global calls for restraint. India and England gear up for the third test match in Rajkot today. Huge milestones to look forward to for Ashwin, Anderson and Stokes. After arriving in Qatar, Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi met Prime Minister and Minister of Foreign Affairs Sheikh Mohammed bin Abdul Rahman Al Thani. Discussions covered expanding bilateral cooperation in sectors such as trade and investment, energy, finance, among others. Prime Minister Modi will also hold a bilateral meeting with Sheikh Tamim bin Hamad, the Emir of Qatar, and the key dignitaries there. This will be Prime Minister Modi's second visit to Qatar. Upon his arrival in Qatar, Prime Minister Modi was welcomed by a large number of the Indian community in Doha. The Prime Minister reciprocated the warm greetings as he was received by excited Indians. Earlier on Wednesday, India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi inaugurated the first and historic Bocha Sanwasi Akshar Purushottam Swaminarayan Sanstha, or the BAPS Hindu Temple in Abu Dhabi. The inauguration coincided with the auspicious occasion of Basant Panchami and the 159th birth anniversary of Shastriji Maharaj, founder of the BAPS Swaminarayan Sanstha. Prime Minister Modi performed rituals as part of the inauguration of the BAPS Hindu Mandir in Abu Dhabi.
14th of February 2024 will be etched in the pages of history. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi inaugurated the newly constructed Swaminarayan Temple in Abu Dhabi. The temple has been constructed by BAPS. This temple is a unique example of the rich ties between India and the UAE. The BAPS temple is the first Hindu temple in Abu Dhabi. While addressing the inauguration ceremony, India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi said that the land of UAE has scripted a golden chapter in the history of humanity.
आज यूनाइटेड अरब अमीरात की धरती ने मानवीय इतिहास का एक नया स्वर्णिम अध्याय लिखा है। आज अबू धाबी में भव्य और दिव्य मंदिर का लोकार्पण हो रहा है। ये मंदिर पूरी दुनिया के लिए सांप्रदायिक सौहार्द और वैश्विक एकता का प्रतीक बनेगा।
Prime Minister Modi also performed some special rituals after invoking the statue of Akshar Purushottam. This Aarti ceremony was performed simultaneously in 1500 temples of BAPS as part of the global Aarti ceremony. The historic BAPS Swaminarayan Temple in Abu Dhabi marks a significant moment for the city's Hindu community. Public access to the temple will begin on the 1st of March. The BAPS Hindu temple has 402 pillars and 7 spires. The entire temple complex is spread over 27 acres. The temple is 108 feet high and 260 feet wide. This BAPS Hindu temple embraces the message of love, spirituality, non-violence, tolerance and global brotherhood. Stories from the Vedic period and mythological period are carved on the walls of the temple. India's PM also mentioned how the temple displays unity in diversity.
हमें विविधता में बैर नहीं दिखता, हमें विविधता ही विशेषता लगती है। आज वैश्विक संघर्षों और चुनौतियों के सामने ये विचार हमें एक विश्वास देता है, मानवता में हमारे विश्वास को मजबूत करता है। इस मंदिर में आपको पग पग पर विविधता में विश्वास की ये झलक दिखेगी। मंदिर की दीवारों पर हिंदू धर्म के साथ साथ इजिप्ट की हायरोग्लिफ और बाइबल की, कुरान की कहानियां भी उकेरी गई है।
The sacred water of Ganga, Yamuna has been installed in the temple. Prime Minister Modi offered prayers as he honored the holy rivers of India at the temple. A replica of the stream of holy rivers has also been carved in the center point of the temple.
हमारे मन एक दूसरे से जुड़े, हमारे संकल्प एकजुट हो, मानवीय एकता का यह आह्वान ही हमारे आध्यात्म का मूल भाव रहा है। हमारे मंदिर इन शिक्षाओं के, इन संकल्पों के केंद्र रहे हैं। इन मंदिरों में हम एक स्वर में ये घोष करते हैं कि प्राणियों में सद्भावना हो, विश्व का कल्याण हो। मंदिरों में वेद की जिन ऋचाओं का पाठ होता है वो हमें सिखाती हैं वसुधैव कुटुंबकम, अर्थात पूरी पृथ्वी ही हमारा परिवार है। इस विचार को लेकर आज भारत विश्व शांति के अपने मिशन के लिए प्रयास कर रहा है।
India's Prime Minister Modi also inscribed with his own hands India's message of universal brotherhood, Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. This newly built temple will impart India's eternal message of peace, cooperation, equality and welfare to the world. Bureau Report, DD India.
The inauguration of the BAPS Hindu temple in Abu Dhabi was attended by UAE's Minister of Tolerance and Coexistence, Sheikh Nahyan bin Mubarak Al Nahyan. He praised Prime Minister Modi and said that it was an honor to have received him in their country. He said the countries would work together to strengthen the great relations they share.
On this blessed occasion of inaugurating this impressive temple, we recall your stirring words when you describe the philosophy of your government, together with all, progress for all. We also express our great confidence that your visit and your presence here this evening bode well for a future of mutual understanding, cooperation, peaceful pursuit and joint ventures between our two countries.
Prime Minister Modi's Dubai visit also saw him giving a clarion call for reform of global institutions, along with stressing on the need to create global prototypes for emerging challenges like AI and crypto. Now, this was part of the Prime Minister's keynote address at the World Government Summit in Dubai. Up next, a detailed report.
India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi addressed the World Government Summit in UAE's Dubai on Wednesday. This year's theme is Shaping Future Governments. The Indian Prime Minister highlighted his beliefs of an ideal government and expressed how governments which are inclusive, take everyone along, are clean and free from corruption.
आज विश्व को आवश्यकता है ऐसी सरकारों की जो ईज ऑफ लिविंग, ईज ऑफ जस्टिस, ईज ऑफ मोबिलिटी, ईज ऑफ इनोवेशन और ईज ऑफ डूइंग बिजनेस को अपनी प्राथमिकता बनाकर चले.
Throwing light on the support and trust of Indians on the Indian government, Prime Minister Modi mentioned that India has seen transformation in every sector and people's trust in the government has increased.
बीते वर्षों में भारत सरकार पर देश के लोगों का भरोसा और मजबूत हुआ है. लोगों को हमारी सरकार के इंटेंट और कमिटमेंट दोनों पर पूरा भरोसा है. ये कैसे हुआ? क्योंकि हमने गवर्नेंस में जन भावनाओं को प्राथमिकता दी है. हम देशवासियों की जरूरत के प्रति संवेदनशील है.
India's Prime Minister also pressed on the fact that the Global South must be heard. He also emphasized on the need to share resources and technologies like AI and added that keeping national sovereignty in mind, international law must be respected.
हमें ग्लोबल साउथ की आवाज सुननी होगी. उनकी प्राथमिकताओं को सामने लाना होगा. हमें जरूरतमंद देशों के साथ अपने रिसोर्सेस और अपनी कैपेबिलिटीज को शेयर करना होगा. हमें एआई, आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस और क्रिप्टो करेंसी, साइबर क्राइम ऐसे पैदा हो रही चुनौतियों के लिए ग्लोबल प्रोटोकॉल बनाने होंगे. हमें अपनी नेशनल सॉवरेनिटी को प्राथमिकता देते हुए इंटरनेशनल लॉ की मर्यादा भी रखनी होगी.
Earlier in the day, deepening India's economic linkages with the UAE and the world, the Indian Prime Minister, along with Vice President and Prime Minister of UAE, Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum, virtually laid the foundation stone for Bharat Mart in Jebel Ali. On the sidelines of the World Government Summit, Prime Minister held bilateral meetings with Madagascar President, an important partner of India's Saga Vision. As per a social media post by the Indian Prime Minister, ways to boost trade and cultural linkages were discussed between the two nations. India's Prime Minister also met with the Prime Minister of UAE, Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum. Bureau Report, DD, India.
All right, getting you other news now. Israel vowed to continue with a powerful operation in Gaza's Rafah, even as calls mounted for it to hold off sending troops into the territory's overcrowded far southern city. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, who is under growing international pressure to hold off the conflict, gave no indication as to when the offensive might take place or where the hundreds of thousands of people now crammed into Rafah might go. His comments came a day after talks in Cairo on a possible ceasefire and the handover of the hostages held by Hamas ended inconclusively, stoking fears among the displaced Palestinians that Israel would soon storm Rafah, which abuts Egypt. Earlier, Netanyahu said that Israel will fight until complete victory, and this includes a powerful action in Rafah as well. Israel carried out extensive airstrikes on villages across southern Lebanon on Wednesday in response to a deadly rocket attack on northern Israel by Hezbollah. At least 2 Hezbollah militants are reported to have been killed in the Israeli strike. Hezbollah and the Israeli military have been exchanging fire along the Israel-Lebanon border for more than 4 months now after the Lebanese armed group launched rockets across the disputed frontier. Hezbollah did not announce any operations on Wednesday. The head of its executive council said that Israel's attacks onto Lebanese territory on Wednesday cannot pass without a response. An Israeli government spokesperson told journalists that rocket barrages from Lebanon on Wednesday morning had left 1 Israeli woman soldier dead and another 8 hospitalized. Also, government reiterated that Israel is not interested in a war on 2 fronts, but if provoked, they will respond forcefully. We're heading for a short break, but still to come on this edition of DD India Live. Rejecting Trump's concern over Biden's growing age, Russian President Vladimir Putin calls President Biden more experienced and predictable. It's love all around. Day out for couples in the city of love, Paris, to mark the Valentine's Day. Coming up next, Rohit Sharma to lead India at the Men's T20 World in the US and West Indies.
India that invents. India that innovates. India that excites. India that invites. Land of possibilities. Teeming with opportunities. Watch India Ideas each Thursday, 8 p.m. only on DD India.
Welcome back after the break. You're watching DD India Live. Let's continue getting you more international updates. We get you updates on Russia-Ukraine crisis now. Ukraine claims to have sunk a Russian landing warship, the Cesar Kanikov, off the coast of occupied Crimea in an operation with naval drones. Ukrainian military intelligence released a video on Wednesday that it said showed several naval drones approaching a large vessel at night and at least one large explosion. Ukraine's GUR military intelligence agency said the warship appeared to have been loaded when it sank and that before the attack, it had spent some 10 days at a loading site used by the Russian military. The Project 775 warship, one of Russia's newest vessels, has a crew of 87 and took part in wars in Georgia, Syria and Ukraine. The United Nations highest court ruled that it will hear a case in which Kyiv has requested it to declare that it did not commit genocide in eastern Ukraine on Friday, as claimed by Russia, as a pretext for attacking its neighbor. The judges agreed to consider only a part of the plea filed by Ukraine to rule on whether the Russian invasion violated the 1948 Genocide Convention or not. The court had jurisdiction to hear just a small part of the original case, which says Ukraine committed genocide in the Donetsk and Luhansk areas of eastern Ukraine, now occupied by Russia. Though the court may come up with a verdict on the issue, there is no provision to enforce them. Russian President Vladimir Putin has said that Joe Biden would be a better US president for Russia than Donald Trump and dismissed concerns over his counterpart's age and acuity for the role. Asked in a state television interview to choose between Biden and Trump, Putin said that the US leader was more experienced and predictable, adding that Russia would work with any US leader who wins the trust of the American people. The Russian president's comments came a day after Biden accused Trump of having bowed down to a Russian dictator, as he urged Republicans in Congress to defy Trump and back more funding for Ukraine.
Biden, he's more experienced, more predictable. He's an old school politician. But we will work with any US leader who the American people have confidence in. When I met Biden in Switzerland, yes, it was 3 years ago, but it does not matter. Even then people were saying that Biden was incompetent. But I did not see anything of this sort. Yes, he kept looking at his papers, but to be honest, I kept doing the same. So there was nothing peculiar.
A New York judge is set to determine the trial date for the first criminal case against Donald Trump. His presence is expected at the hearing, which the judge will also address Trump's motion to dismiss the case. Now, this decision is highly anticipated and will have significant implications. DD India's William Denslow delivers updates from New York.
Donald Trump faces 34 felony counts tied to allegations that he made hush money payments to a porn star during his 2016 race to the White House. The man, expected to be a key witness, former fixer Michael Cohen, paid Stormy Daniels $130,000 ahead of the election, and prosecutors claim that Trump reimbursed Cohen by falsely claiming the money to be a legal expense. Trump denies the charges, and his legal team have called for a Manhattan judge to dismiss the case outright. If he doesn't, Justice Juan Machan is expected to decide when the case, currently bookmarked for March 25th, will go to trial. Meanwhile, on Thursday, a judge in the state of Georgia will hold a hearing relating to misconduct claims against a prosecutor in Trump's election interference case. District Attorney Fani Willis is accused of having an improper relationship with the special counsel in the case, whom she appointed. And on Friday, a separate Manhattan judge is expected to make a ruling in the civil case against Trump, who's accused of inflating the value of his assets for favourable lending terms. Judge Arthur Engoron has found Trump liable for fraud, and New York prosecutors are seeking around $370 million in penalties and to bar him from running a business in the state. The former president says these cases against him are a politically motivated witch hunt. William Denslow in New York reporting for DD India.
Pakistan Muslim League Nawaz has nominated its president Shehbaz Sharif as the prime ministerial candidate for Pakistan instead of the party chief and three-time former premier Nawaz Sharif. His daughter Maryam Nawaz, 50 years of age, is the party nominee for the post of Chief Minister of Punjab province. Take a look.
Pakistan is a polity pulling in different directions held together by the glue of convenience. Not quite connivance. A coalition of PMLN and PPP with Shehbaz Sharif as a candidate for Prime Minister.
Now, when the parliament is about to come into existence, our war will be against the challenges facing this country. The first and number one challenge is to make our economy stand on its feet. This challenge itself is like a Himalaya.
However, the co-chairman of the PPP, former President Asif Ali Zardari, expects former Premier Imran Khan's Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf to be part of the reconciliation process. Could this be because his party has just 54 seats in the House and is hoping to piggy bank on the collective strength of PTI-affiliated independents? Or could all parties be looking at a democratic revival through olive branch politics?
We have to do reconciliation, and PTI is part of this reconciliation. We don't want that PTI is not part of this reconciliation. Every political force should be part of reconciliation.
The elections have raised more questions than answers. Supporters of Imran Khan believe the system was rigged from the start. Surely their votes could count for something. They voted for a candidate who wasn't even allowed to contest. What does that say of a free and fair system?
No, I'm not the only one who is disappointed. The entire nation is dismayed. Everyone is upset and everyone is feeling let down because all the agencies and other government people started hounding the person that the entire nation has selected. Imran Khan is the only one who can make this nation better. No one else can do it.
The caretaker government, which presided over the elections, is convinced that it did its job without fear or favour. This despite major world powers doubting the veracity of the poll process.
If we have to investigate, if we have to inquire, we will not that do on the demand of either United States or United Kingdom or EU. We have got our own procedures. We are a sovereign country. We have got our own laws.
All said and done, Shehbaz Sharif has the backing of his brother, former Premier Nawaz Sharif. Together, the PMLN and PPP account for 134 seats, a simple majority in the 264-seat legislature. Their coalition would also apply across the provinces, with Nawaz's daughter Maryam likely to be Chief Minister of the influential Punjab province. Bureau Report, DD India.
Intensifying this week's demonstrations against election results in Pakistan, protesters gathered in Quetta, the provincial capital of Balochistan, for a sit-in stir on Wednesday. Workers and supporters of different political parties blocked all main highways linking Balochistan with other provinces in protest against what they alleged was rigging of votes. Shops and public transport services in Quetta came to a standstill as local political parties called for a total shutdown. A political stalemate continues in Pakistan after an inconclusive election that ended with Shehbaz Sharif chosen to continue leading the country. Efforts were underway to get the second largest party to join the government to ensure stability. The new government could also face new political tensions with independent members of parliament backed by jailed former Premier Imran Khan, forming the largest group in the legislature. The Spring Festival night celebrations in China include spectacular lantern shows such as the Quinoa Lantern Fair and Zhejiang Lantern Festival. Now, these events showcase the rich history and diversity of China's traditional culture with over 150 light displays from 15 provinces. The festival has gained international recognition since the 1980s, attracting interest from around the world. Couples dressed in pink and heart-shaped accessories visited the Eiffel Tower in Paris to mark the Valentine's Day. Madame Brasserie, the restaurant on the Eiffel Tower's first floor, offered a special Valentine's menu for 400 guests. Paris, known as the City of Love, is a popular destination for couples, accounting for many of the 44 million tourists visiting the city annually. On to sports updates now. Hosts India will play England in the third test match at Saurashtra Cricket Association Stadium in Rajkot from Thursday. After India's remarkable comeback in the second test at Vizag, the series is well poised for an interesting show for the remainder of the test series. And Rohit Sharma is all set to lead India in the upcoming 2020 World Cup in June. Hardik Pandya will be the vice-captain. The announcement by the Board of Control of Cricket in India Secretary ends days of suspense surrounding the leadership for the global event in Caribbean and the US. Rohit played for India's T20 side for the first time since the T20 World Cup semi-final in 2022, when he turned out for the home T20 series against Afghanistan. That's it in this edition of DD India Live, but let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. You can connect with us on Facebook, X and also Instagram. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Preeti Kaur signing off, and from all of us here in Delhi, thanks for watching DD India Live.
The cabinet and secular debate and say